I would say this year has been the first year it's been around, or been... I need to be politically correct here, I think. This is good. I'm walking on a tightrope here.
Mate, before we drop in on this incredible episode that you've done with the one and only Billy Bolt, all right? First, mate, we've got to talk about Hardline. It's this coming weekend.
Dude, we have to. The testing videos have just come out, and my goodness, the course
is certainly something.
I wasn't expecting it to get bigger.
No, and the internet seems to still be broken from the few clips that have gone out.
Hasn't it just? Red Bull Hardline comes in hot, doesn't it?
Yes. I feel like for this 10th anniversary, they might have stepped it up a little bit more than usual.
Yeah. 10 years it's been going though, eh?
10 years, mate. 10 years. And we are going to celebrate the fact that it's been 10 years with launching Fantasy Red Bull Hardline.
How cool is that?
It's pretty sick, actually.
It's really cool. Yeah.
So if you want to play Red Bull Fantasy, you can. Just head over to theracecompanion.com or go to redbull.com and basically just search for Hardline. We're on the first page. We're right there.
Who's your money on?
Ooh, it's tough to go against Ronan at the moment. It's on form. Tough to go against BK.
There's always wild cards. If there's ever a race that there's more chance of a wild card coming through, it is Red Bull Hardline, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. I was just actually scrolling through the list of athletes, and there's so many people, dude, that could obviously win it. I mean, you could argue that most of them could. I mean, you've got former race winner Craig Evans. Teo's over there, obviously. Harry Malloy.
Josh Bryceland's back. Brendog's there.
Back. Yeah, one of the Hockenalls. Well, Sam Hockenall could easily win Red Bull Hardline. Yeah. Josh Lowe. Mate, the list goes on. And I couldn't be more excited to watch it. I genuinely cannot wait to watch Hardline.
Me neither.
And play Fantasy.
I'm going to get on Fantasy now, actually.
You get on Fantasy right now.
Yep.
And while you're doing that, I will say to our lovely companionship to go sort a team, get playing, and enjoy this episode that Ollie did with the one and only Billy Bolt.
4 times and reigning SuperEnduro world champion, hard enduro legend, YouTuber, podcaster, and probably better than most on a mountain bike that's listening to this. I'll be realistic. He's undefeated. It's Billy Bolt. Welcome.
Okay, now
that's good, wasn't it?
That was quite the introduction.
You impressed?
Very.
I didn't do the click thing. There you go. Now the sound's in line.
Well, we're
Thanks
good
for
to go.
joining us on short notice.
No problem. Yeah, to be honest, that works better in my life. Like, short notice. Do you want to do a podcast? It just so happens I'm within the vicinity for a few hours tomorrow. Can you do tomorrow? Yeah, let's do tomorrow. Here we are.
How can it have worked that easy?
Honestly, that if you'd have said, well, in fact, people have. They've been invited on podcasts. Yeah, I'll let you know next time around or whatever. Yeah. That was...
And you mean
2 years ago, and I would generally like to do a lot more, but yeah, my life is hectic, kind of self-induced, hectic and busy. I struggle if it's not, to be honest. But yeah, you've met the way my life works. Can you do a podcast? Yeah, let's do it tomorrow.
Well, I mean, probably the same for me, to be quite honest with you. But you're over for Red Bull. Or you're over for injury?
A bit of all sorts, really. So I'm injured at the minute. I had ACL surgery 3 months ago or so.
Yeah.
So I actually went to see the doctor yesterday for like a 3-month checkup. So he's all happy with that. That's all good. So while I've kind of obviously not been racing, a lot of other stuff going on. It was actually Roxy, my wife's birthday this week, Monday. So we were in Ibiza at the weekend for her birthday.
Nice.
Kind of had doctor's appointment booked in. I'm doing a talk, I believe, or a question and answer night. I'm not entirely sure what's happening, but something for Red Bull at the bike shed in London tomorrow. Tonight, sorry, what am I on about? Tonight. Doctor's was yesterday, so I had the full day to kind of kill anyway. And then we were in London the other week for Bren's movie premiere.
Yeah, he did.
My car got broke into and my stuff got nicked out of it, so I wanted to avoid being in the centre of London for as long as possible. My camera bag got stole.
Oh, what?
So we were like, we don't really want to spend too much time in the centre of London because we've came from Ibiza. We're going to Monaco for Formula 1 this weekend. So we've just got well, I always travel with tons of shit because I never
Quite a
know.
schedule.
I never know how long I'm going to be away from home for. So yeah, I was semi-concerned about shit getting nicked out my car.
Yeah, I bet.
So to little diversion out to the posh end round here is all good.
Nice, good. Hey, I was stoked that it worked out because I like. I wrote to you. We met briefly at the Death Grip premiere.
Yeah.
And I wrote to you like, oh, nice to meet you at the Lame Mountain Bike movie. And I thought I'd address it like, as a mountain biker, being around moto people, you just feel lame. I can't help it.
But I feel the same though, the other way around.
You can't, for real?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's mint. I'll tell you, I've got a theory as to why I feel lame.
Come on then.
I've got, right, okay.
But also, you got to remember, I was a trials rider for the majority of my life, so who's the lame one, really?
Fuck, trials is cool, dude.
No, but I also, I don't, not digging trials riders, I still respect trials, but I think if there was a cool wall, it wouldn't be
I've got you
up there.
You feel fringe within like motorbikes and that if you're a trials rider, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. Right, my theory for mountain bikers, I reckon the feeling, because it's not like it's like a feeling deep within, right? It is. It's a vulnerability. It's because I know I've made motorbike noises in my head.
But who hasn't?
Yeah, right?
You stuck a can in your tyre when you were a kid. And
yeah, but you've never made like breathing noises on your motorbike to emulate mountain biking, have you?
Well,
but it's always good when there's like...
I don't know, that is quite the theory. I don't know how much science you've got to back that up. But
no, there's no science, but I believe it. I believe it. But it's cool now that like you see more moto people getting involved in mountain biking.
Yeah, well, I think it's always kind of been there. It was never really a thing for me. Obviously, I rode bicycles as a kid.
Yeah.
Forever, and then I was obviously a trials rider, so I rode trials bicycles. And kind of where I'm from in Newcastle, there's nowhere to go and ride motorbikes, so I was literally just rode bicycles.
Yeah.
My whole childhood, really, and then I kind of stopped. It was kind of not really an option to have a mountain bike and a motorbike, and kind of it was motorbikes.
Got to go in.
Serious every weekend, and like just from a time, B from like a financial point of view, it wasn't really an option to have mountain bikes. So then, I obviously switched over to enduro, and became not too bad at that, and had more time and got given a bike actually from Husqvarna at first when they first came out with an e-bike, and I was fucking terrified of it, to be honest. I was like, I can't ride this thing.
Really?
Yeah, I was honestly...
In what way are you terrified?
I mean, I could like do stoppies and wheelies and shit because that's what I'd done all my life, but like I remember, so we always had e-bikes like on the truck or whatever, really useful at races to go and look at parts of the track, or like the mechanics can take them and go and watch further away and always be back for the pit stops or whatever. Like there's always mountain bikes on the truck and stuff like that, usually with Euro brakes, which makes it even more scary for an English person. So like I'm always just would pick one up and would go and walk tracks, and our tracks are pretty sketchy, so like there's times we're going down some pretty sketchy stuff, but this is before I even like rode mountain bikes whatsoever, and I just would be terrified of it. Like it feels
twitchy.
It feels so light, so twitchy.
Yeah,
you'd do a jump and you'd be like straightening your legs, thinking, fucking hell, like holding on for dear life. And Manny, who's obviously always been big into mountain bikes, and I was obviously pretty good friends with him, so we were like, we'd walk the tracks together and stuff, and he'd be good on it, and I'd be following him thinking like, this thing is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
So I just like didn't really, I mean, obviously I've always followed it, I've always watched mountain biking, but every time I would ride one, I'd be like, fuck this is terrifying. And then it was in lockdown when I was up in Newcastle, there's nowhere to go and ride motorbikes and stuff like that, and I actually pulled the Husky bike back out, and I was like, well, I might as well ride this thing. A few of my other mates, it was like summer holidays, wasn't it? The weather was good, everyone was off. Everyone was off work. A few of my mates had bicycles, and then obviously I met quite a few other local people that rode mountain bikes and stuff. And then, first day, terrified. I had ambition. I wanted to be good at it because I thought there's nothing else to do. So you had some pretty big crashes, to be fair, to start off with.
Because of the twitchiness?
Well, I just not really knowing what I was doing as well. I remember second day out on it, I cracked a helmet and fucking really went hard. I went big crashes because I was ambitious, and I was I wouldn't say I was bad at it.
Yeah.
I didn't feel safe. That's a fair analysis, I would say. And then, yeah, like 2 weeks later, I started to get the hang of it, and I'm actually like proper into it, and like I rode it like every day pretty much of lockdown. And yeah, that was it really. From then on, I was like, well, I've always followed mountain biking, like mountain biking. Like I'd never really been part of it, but I've always followed it, watched it on YouTube. You know, I even like had the magazines and stuff like that as a kid. So I was like, well, I might as well give this a go now. And just I was just randomly posting bits from lockdown and stuff, and like I was getting like really good interaction from it, and like wasn't really putting any effort into it, but people were loving it. And then obviously quite a lot of sponsors crossed over and stuff, or did mountain bike stuff or whatever, so they were happy, they were sending us stuff. And then before I knew it, I'd just become like so spoilt in the mountain bike world, like for the level I am and like kind of where I am, the amount of shit that I get given. And I'm
yes, that's sick though.
I'm so spoiled, it's ridiculous, but I'm not complaining whatsoever.
But you are really good on it now.
I wouldn't say really good. I do think I am not bad.
What race did you do? I saw some people you
did,
beat. You beat fair and square some people that I know.
Well, I was in the e-bike class, which all my mates are claiming it's an advantage because I actually beat them and they go racing every weekend. But I'm claiming it's not, because the amount of times I was on a pedaling section,
cranking above it,
and I was past my legs were cramping so bad from the pedaling section. Just I was going past the motor. And I set off at the back, and it started raining halfway through the day. Well, I was supposed to set off at the back, and then I realised my start time was 30 minutes before my mate's finishing time. And I went to the organiser and said, can I just start now, please? So I just set off in the middle of I was catching people every stage and stuff. But it was fun, I loved it. That's the one race I've done. What was it called again? I was in Scotland at...
Tweed Love, that
was it.
Tweed Love? Yeah.
I think
it's Tweed Love, yeah. I looked up in my research phase.
Fucking hell.
Your mountain bike research phase.
I've got a trophy from that day. It turned up at my parents' house like 2-3 months later. Just quite a lot of parcels do, and I hadn't ordered anything, so I was like, oh, I wonder what the fuck that is. So I just text back. It was just my dad sends a picture. I'll open it, and then it was a plaque from that day, and I was just like, a bit of a proud moment.
I feel like you're like what you've grown up doing and stuff means that the skills transfer over, because they don't necessarily. Like I've ridden with like moto guys before, and they like it's not the same thing at all. I mean, when I first rode a motorbike, I remember not understanding, like trying to pull the bars and stuff. Like it's very different.
Yeah, I think trials.
Yeah.
In general, bicycle trials, moto trials. I obviously did both a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
And I wasn't that good on a bicycle. Like I could do it. I could bounce on the back wheel, bounce on the front wheel, jump up a wall. I spent most of my childhood trying to smash into the side of the wall at the front of my house. But I think that does transfer to a lot. It gives you such a good base, like balance and just feel for the brakes, and same like on a motorbike, the feel for the clutch and stuff like that. I think, it really does give you a good base to go on and do whatever you want to do. I think you've definitely got to almost unlearn some things, because to progress, you've kind of got to really, it is its own thing, but like I say, the foundations it lays, I think have definitely played a big role in kind of putting me where I am today. Yeah,
and where you are is SuperEnduro world champion, so it's not a bad place. But a lot of people that listen to this are from mountain biking, and I'd be interested to hear your summary of SuperEnduro.
So SuperEnduro is basically, this is going to sound like I've rehearsed this because I've actually said it somewhere else, but it's basically like motocross on a building site. I've had a baby. Because SuperEnduro is like the indoor version of our racing, so it's like the dirt track with like pipes, logs, tractor tires, all that shit on top of it. So you've basically got like a dirt track as a base, and then obstacles put on top of it, and then we race kind of in stadiums and arenas and stuff. In the winter time. So that's because
enduro itself is pretty broad, isn't it?
It's quite complex, and for to the untrained follower or stuff, it does get quite confusing. I can say how not a lot of people know what's going on. So I basically race SuperEnduro in the winter time, and then hard enduro through the main part of the year, which is like your Erzbergs, Romaniacs, mountains, trees, streams, fucking, you name it, we kind of go and race on it in the main part of the year.
So SuperEnduro is your primary
Yeah,
thing.
well, I do kind of both. I've been injured the last 2 hard enduro seasons, well, 3 if you count this one, I suppose. So yeah, it tends to be my injury part of the year.
Got you. Right,
I did win the hard enduro championship in 2021.
Yeah.
And then like I said, I've been injured the 2 years since, well, 3 if you count this year. So it's just how it's worked in. I'd say I am slightly better at SuperEnduro.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still also I want to be better at outdoors. Like there's still races that I really want to win in the outdoor world and stuff like that. Like it might look like I don't put as much effort into it or whatever, like results wise, kind of I've won SuperEnduro 4 years in a row, and kind of hard enduro I haven't really, well, I won in 2021 and I haven't had too many great results since then, but that's mainly been from injuries. It's not from my effort. I do still want to be successful in both.
Yeah. SuperEnduro's really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, it's in a really healthy position. Without going too much into politics, the Hard Enduro Championship's in a bit of a strange time, really. There's quite a lot of change happened in the recent years, and not a lot of it, I would say, is for the better.
In what way?
Well, just like riders aren't really happy with a lot, like how the sport is really. A lot of the decisions.
Course or broadcast?
Bit of both. Course, broadcast, course. There's just kind of not a lot of. We don't see a lot of growth coming from the sport.
Got you,
And in some ways, I feel like it's almost gone backwards steps in the recent years. Whereas SuperEnduro, I think, has gone the opposite way, and I think they've really realised, there's 3 short races. You can kind of build a track which is going to produce insane racing on all levels, because the track is so technical but also fast and has 14 people within the space of 100 meters by 100 meters.
It's made for broadcast.
Like, it's just carnage. Like, there's mistakes happening no matter where you look. Like, and because there's so many mistakes happening, you could have a 15-second lead, make a mistake, have a 2-second lead the next lap, and then the amount of stuff that changes in such a short time, like a 7-minute race, is insane. And because it's all kind of man-made, you go to an arena or stadium, you build the track. It's kind of a foolproof recipe, really. Like, build that track, there's going to be entertainment for people to come and watch. And I think the last few years, it's really picked up, and I've noticed just this following, and just the support I've got from when my first year doing it was 2018. And like the following and the support, because most of the races this year was the first year for a while we've had a UK round,
which was in
Newcastle,
right?
yeah. But until the last one, I think, was like 2014, or it was before I even did enduro. So the following and support I've felt like from people back home and stuff is from 2018 to now is like insane. Like, we do get good support, and like Johnny's been second the last few years, so Britain, and we've won the junior championship quite a few times of the last few years and stuff. Like, we really are, like, it's in a healthy position anyway, I'd say, SuperEnduro.
Yeah, that's cool. The tracks, they vary a lot as well, don't they?
Yeah, because obviously, I mean, there's not really any rules either, to be honest.
Yeah.
So like it's down, sometimes you turn up and it's like super technical, and the organizer, wants it to be like nobody could get round, which is not the best for racing, but like riders don't tend to like it, but that produces a lot of crashes. Or you could have like a much less technical track where the speeds are a lot higher, and that brings the racing like super tight, super close together, like qualifying times are like within a second, and like this, then it becomes more of a race and a bit more of a strategy, which is what most racers actually like, like there's actually, I prefer it also. I mean, I don't mind, I'm coming from trials, I'm quite good when it's technical, but I prefer to have like a faster open track where you can rub bang bars a little bit.
I guess we're going to see what you actually want from a track in Tyne Ride, eh?
Yeah, well, that's I've had a good part of that. That's going to be a straight rhythm, so
easy.
Yeah,
I just saw like the preview thing. It looks mint. It looks so good.
So that's pretty sick, really. Red Bull were they'd been in talks with Newcastle Council even before I actually became a Red Bull athlete, and I know that it just so happens that Newcastle Council's pretty open and welcoming to do stuff. And then obviously I came on board, and it kind of made sense to do an event or race kind of around me, I think. So that kind of just came together nicely. And then obviously, any Red Bull event is going to be big. It's going to be wild. And I said, I think the track doesn't necessarily need to be difficult. My idea, it hasn't really worked out just because of dates and other events that are happening, that I wanted to try and get some riders from other sports and other disciplines to come and do it. So I said, like, my idea was it just needs to visually look mad. Like, someone walk around the corner and just go, like, what the fuck's happening on this street today? Because it's literally middle of the city centre, shutting down a road, like right by the River Tyne. The setting is so sick, and it's going to be like, the track's like 3 containers high in some places.
So you can see it all. It's all like, what's that game? Do you know the game I mean? It's like I don't know, Motor Trial or something. It's called. Like I remember that as a kid.
So, and it's like literally 2 lanes. So it's not racing against each other, but again, we often do like a similar format as qualifying for the hard enduro races. It's happening in quite a few places.
You do it for SuperEnduro as well, don't you?
SuperEnduro, we do like a 1-lap super pole to get the start order, or like the order you go to the grid. But obviously, that track's in a stadium, so it's a bit more like a supercross layout with like 180 corners, 90-degree corners. Yeah. But for the hard enduro races, this is where it becomes so confusing, because there's like qualifying. Some races have like a big qualifying race. Some races don't even have qualifying. Some hard enduro races are 2 hours long.
This is it. Enduro's
some are 5 days long, and it is difficult to follow. But often for qualifying, we'll do a straight rhythm style, like a SuperEnduro, either a SuperEnduro race or like a straight rhythm race where it's like 2 lanes, you race there and you race back, and it's the first one to cross the finish line.
Yeah, got you.
Which is what this is going to be, which again is close racing, because that style of track just lends to, so easy to make a mistake, but it's so easy to then recover from a mistake. So it's going to be cool. Like I say, it's its first year. We've done some test runs of the track and stuff, which just to make sure it's going to be even on both sides, and to know like what jumps are possible and what's probably going to be possible for a handful of people, which is then going to produce some separation. And
so you're trying to build in those features.
Yeah, like exactly. We want to make it so like if you really want to send it, there's time to be made up. Yeah. And like I say, with any kind of event they do it properly, and that's why they wanted to have a test run and stuff like that, just to see how it worked. And
what did you leave out? Were you like putting the rocks in? Or were you know what I mean?
I didn't leave anything out. There's one feature which I was pushing pretty hard for, which I got told has to wait till next year, which I'm not going to go too much into it, but it was like visually, well, it involved cranes, put it that way.
Oh, mate.
and I was like pushing so hard for it, and Matt from Red Bull was also like on my side, and we were kind of like fighting against the event guys, because obviously it costs a lot of money, and with it being the first year, and in the end we thought, okay, we'll not give them too much the first year, we'll make sure we've got like a level up for next year. So I don't know, if I get my way for next year, I think it's going to look pretty mad.
It's I think it's really cool to see, because Red Bull obviously did a Serra Bio, which is like the downhill races through towns.
Yeah.
And there's something about bringing, like, because essentially all of us are doing these weird sports, like, that are ultimately a lot of the time in the middle of the woods, or like, there's something so cool about bringing them to towns, isn't there? And like seeing people have never seen anything like it.
100%. And that was what I was so on board with it for, was like that part of Newcastle as well is pretty busy, especially on like a weekend, and it's in August, so fingers crossed we get good weather.
Yeah.
And I just had visions of like people walking around the corner, like, I don't know. I've got this vision of like a mother and a kid, like mother and their son, walking, holding hands, walking around the corner, and just going, what on earth is happening here? And then they just see a motorbike like flying 2 shipping containers high over their head. And I just think like visually that is, you can't not want to know what's going on and want to look. And then, hopefully then they go home and look up the riders that's been racing, or like, I think it can't not bring new eyes to the sport.
No.
And then, like I say, with it, that style of racing, I think it's going to be entertaining for the involved fan, the fan that knows what's going on and is really like wants to follow it. That's going to be a tight race. They're going to want to know. They're going to have the favourites, or they're going to already want to know who they want to win, or they're going to want to know a lot. Well, they already know a lot more of what's going on. so they're going to be involved and can follow it. It's not like, I think a lot of times when there's things happen to try and bring new people into the audience, it becomes a bit too cheesed.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's hard to get it right, isn't it?
It's hard to
get it right.
Yeah, it is. And like I say, fingers crossed it does get right. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to be successful from that sense, but
it looks amazing,
there's a lot of time and effort going in. It's like more than 2 years in the works now.
Yeah.
And I think fingers crossed it goes well, and I think it's going to be a good mix, and it definitely has a lot of room to grow too. So yeah, I think 3rd of August in Newcastle, if anyone wants to go and check it out. Well, I'm sure you'll see stuff everywhere on the build up to it. There's a lot of content being made and stuff like that still hasn't came out yet, so it's going to be cool.
Look forward to it. So race format wise, with the SuperEnduro, you do your quali lap and you're on your own.
Yeah.
But that's only one part of it, right? Then it turns into full contact supercross style around this kind of trials like enduro track.
Yeah.
Is that a good summary?
Nailed it.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
That very impressive.
But like some of the stuff you kind of have to ride over with someone next to you is so, from a spectator point of view, it's so horrific. It's like the log is exactly where you don't want it to be, or the rock is like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. And that's why, again, there's so many mistakes. There's so much carnage going on, and it's not like, I think it's obviously smaller stadiums than a supercross or whatever, so it is less speeds and smaller jumps and stuff like that. But it's, again, a mistake or a crash doesn't ruin your race. You know, like sometimes you can hit the ground and you can be up and you not even lose a position.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot, which is why there is so much going on. Like I'll sit and watch the other races that's going on at night time and just like quite often we'll go to the line straight after the juniors, and the juniors is really good to watch because the front guys are really fast, but they make a lot of mistakes, and like we're waiting on the start line or waiting to go up to the start line, and just like everyone's just so locked into this battle, and like their races 9 times out of 10 come down to a last lap battle.
Really? Yeah.
So you all just stood there like, this is going to be good.
What bikes are juniors on?
Same bikes, just age categories different. Yeah.
So they're not small wheels.
No.
You literally wouldn't.
Yeah,
get around,
often like as a half-time entertainment or whatever, they have like a kids race, but they like put like pallets or kickers down everywhere, and like
get kids lost in the rock gardens, wouldn't you imagine?
There's still some pretty impressive kids come out and like hit a few of the jumps, and like I mean it is hard on small wheels, but it's good racing either way.
I tell you what, I've got to say, Undefeated, the Husky video that they put out about your season, your 24 season, that is unreal watch. And like watching someone go around a SuperEnduro track anyway is like, oh fucking hell, you know, you're like watching it, like the bikes get nailed, that the whole time you're on the edge of like balance, trials, motocross. Yeah. But watching it with your last season and your knee injury, mate, I was like, honestly, I had my fists clenched. I was like, I couldn't believe it. You're just going back out. What happened? Talk us through roughly what happened. So,
so 3rd round of the championship, first weekend of January this year. Just came up. Still not really that sure how I ended up coming up so short on this jump, because it wasn't a big jump. The only thing, it was like the finish line jump, and I'd just done like a heater lap. Yeah. So I think I've just hit the last corner, not really too worried up, because it wasn't a big jump, so I wasn't too worried about the takeoff of the jump. And I think I've got cross-rutted, mainly just focused on the corner. Came up super short and like a little bit sideways, and just kind of landed with my foot out. Didn't even crash. But just, my foot is the first thing that's hit the ground, or actually hit like a big concrete pipe. That hit the ground, bike then landed and just had like a pop. I don't even know what to describe, but not a good feeling going on in my leg. Just dropped to the floor. Knew instantly like my knee was fucked. Like you just know when you do something bad, you're just like, oh, this is really bad. Yeah. That was the last practice session. So we do like a free practice, a time practice, sometimes 2 free practices, but free practice, time practice, and then have like a 3-4 hour break until the night show starts. So then I'm just kind of like laid on this like a basic, like a school canteen table of like the changing rooms of this arena in Germany, just thinking, oh fuck, I had like this German physio. One of the other riders had brought him, and he's like trying to tell us my knee's fine, it's all in my back the problem, and he's like got his elbows in my back and stuff like that, and he's like pulling on my knee so hard, and I'm just like laid on this canteen table like looking at my team manager, and this bloke's going, your knee's fine, and we're like, all right.
Oh my
and he's like pressing in my back and getting us to stand up and doing a squat. He's like, is it better? And then in the end I'm just like, yeah, that feels good now. He's like, yeah, you're strong, you'll be fine. But I'd done a few little tests and like put some weight through it and stuff, and I was like, well, I think it's rideable or somewhat, like
it feels stable enough.
Yeah, and obviously we were wearing knee braces, and in a motocross boot, it's fairly stable. And I knew like there was 2 weeks off after this race, and and I was like, well, chilling. You know, I feel like one-legged, I'm a decent level. Like, I wasn't expecting to win that night, 100%. Yeah. But I was like, I do feel like, you know, I can go out there with just using my right leg and get points for the championship, put it that way. It's
interesting because you like when you did your knee, obviously in the slow-mo, it's horrible. But like when you actually watch a normal lap, it's sort of what I like about SuperEnduro. It's not like clean and perfect.
Yeah.
It involves a lot
that
of like
kind of dabbing, shit happens all the time.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know. It's like,
so anyway, went out and raced, and like, I wasn't expecting to win that night. I know Johnny's had a problem with his brake in the first race, otherwise I probably wouldn't have won that one. And then the second race I did win, kind of straight up, and then he won the last one. I crashed, but because it's 3 races, the points added together, I won the overall. And then was in Germany, and the team's based in Italy, so the mechanics were like driving through or like near enough to Salzburg, so I was like, I'll just drop me off at the Red Bull Athlete Centre, I'll figure it out from there. Like, that's the easiest place. I'm going to get results the fastest if I go there. So like, I texted him on the Sunday night, like, got like, just arrived in Salzburg, need an MRI scan, like barely like any warning whatsoever. So hobbled in there on the Monday morning, just like, I'm fucked, please help me.
Was there part of you that was like not wanting to even find out, or
no?
Because you just won. It must be like,
no, I knew it was fucked.
Yeah.
And so we raced Saturday. The Saturday night, I like didn't even sleep a wink. It got so bad. Like I had a throbbing and like the pain and the swelling Sunday morning was horrific, like really bad.
Also, in hindsight, like after you actually got it checked out, you actually had like fractures in there as well.
Yeah,
right?
so got dropped off there Sunday, hobbled into the centre Monday, like, I need an MRI scan. Like, they're like, okay, yeah, you need help. So I had the scans Monday, then came back, and I only managed to get a scan like late Monday, and then went back to the centre, and there they have like a doctor that's just a few doctors, but no like orthopedic doctors or anything. So they got the scan straight away, but they said, we need to get like a report from a knee surgeon tomorrow. But from like my opinion, my ACL was completely torn, my LCL was torn, my meniscus was torn, and I had 2 fractures of my tibia plateau. So I'd like weighed it up, because I knew you could pretty much carry on without the ligaments and stuff like that. I mean, it's not good to, but you can.
Yeah.
And so I was asking like, what the fractures, and the doctor was like, no, I think they're going to need fixed straight away. Like, one of them's fine, but one of them's unstable. In his opinion, it's going to need fixed, so which would mean I was kind of out of the championship. So I left there on the Monday night. Well, I stayed in the hotel there to get the knee surgeon's opinions the next day. But Monday night, I was like, it's going to need surgery. Like, told Roxy, like team manager, like, I'm pretty fucked. It's going to need surgery, but again, we've got to wait confirmation from a knee surgeon, which they had sent everything to a knee surgeon in Austria. I had a couple of other knee surgeons that I knew, and like was doing some research, and I knew RJ Hamster, the supercross rider. He'd came back from an ACL really quick, so I'd text him, and obviously he rides for Husky and stuff like that. So
he had the surgery.
He'd had surgery and came back within like, I think it was 3 months, and he was back racing.
Wow, really? Yeah.
So I text him just for any info, any news, or any advice he would have. So he put us in touch with his doctor. So I by like the Tuesday morning, I'd like sent the scans to like 5 different doctors, and just I thought between 5 of them, one of them is going to tell us I can carry on, and I'll just go with his opinion. So the RJ's doctor was actually the first one to come back to us, probably because of like just the way the time zones were or whatever. And he was really, really good. He rang us straight away, and he was like, "No, I've looked at the scans, and yeah, I think you're fine. Like the fractures, they aren't going to get better from surgery. Like, even if you're getting your whole knee fixed, I wouldn't touch the fractures. I wouldn't pin them. I would just let them heal naturally. Like, that's, to fix it there, you're going to lose so much range of motion. Like, just let it heal naturally. So, obviously, it's not recommended to continue, but, like, you can, like, in his opinion. So, that was done deal in my opinion. Like, from my side, like, I've told everyone, like, oh, it's fine. Obviously, they wanted to wait for the Austrian doctor. That there was one in it. The one Italian doctor had also thought we need surgery, and then the Austrian one agreed with the American one, and the guy ended up doing the surgery in London. He also agreed like I could carry on and get it fixed.
So it was majority vote. Is
yeah, so
right. So you were being sensible.
I mean, I'd made the decision after the first one, but it was nice to get the backup from the rest. And like the one in London and Austria were like two of the highest rated or respected knee surgeons, so they were like, yeah, he should be fine.
So watching your season, I was like, I don't know if you're like filling in the gaps and making it up, but are you like literally riding, trying to not put weight through it?
Yeah, I'd not put it down even. Like
putting it down's primary, is it?
It's weird because like sometimes you could put it down, it was fine. Like I didn't train much at all. Probably like a handful of times from January until the end of the season, which was in March. And like I rode motocross one day, and like some like left-handers I could like almost like put my heel on the floor and scrape it all the way around, and I'm like, this is weirdly okay.
Yeah.
And then I rode, it was raining one day, and we went to just like this place we ride hard enduro and just kind of cruised around. We made like a little turn track. I was riding with Johnny, and then when I was riding blind and not knowing, like, kind of I was just following him, playing follow the leader or whatever, it was terrible. Like, I was terrified to do anything.
Yeah.
So, like, times when I knew where the track went were okay. And I think because I could anticipate, right, there's a left-hander coming, I can stick my foot out, but as long as I keep it a bit higher than normal, like, it's not bad. Like, and I had confidence. As soon as I didn't really know where the track was going or what I was going to, like, didn't have a plan, I had no confidence whatsoever. So I think that's why, like, I could continue, and obviously it's a 30-second, 40-second lap. I know I've got a plan laid out for it. So, it was pain. I dabbed it in practice in not in practice. In the first race of Romania, which was the next round, I was changing up a gear, going over the finish line jump, and something like, I don't know what, moved, popped,
it's like the
tweaked.
Weirdest stuff that does it.
Changing up a gear in midair, and I was just like, in midair, just like, fuck. And then like went to put it down in the next corner, and because obviously I just had I don't know what it was, something moved. It didn't even want to come off the foot peg. Like I was scared to take it off. And then the rest of that race, I was leading that race at the time and ended up second in that heat. And I was just literally like screaming. I almost wasn't even in pain at times, but it was just my natural instinct to just go, ah. Yeah. I'd like come into a corner and I'd just start screaming for some reason. And then, so that really hurt. And then had two, that was the first final of the night. I had two more. And by the second one, it was all right. Like I was dabbing it again. Like it was just weird how it would go like that. So yeah, like I said, just preserved it really. Tried to get as much swelling out of it as I could in the week. Didn't worry about training on the bike, and somehow managed to win overall each round still, it's
unreal achievement. And like I do think the edit actually really gets it across. The edit really cool. Yeah.
Came across really, really well. Harvey, the lad who does the stuff for Husky, I have a pretty good relationship with him, and like he knows quite well how I like things to come across. And obviously like we talk quite a bit about, my vlogs and shit like that, and he knows, I think he's got a good understanding of me, and he really delivered it
super
quite well.
Important, isn't it? It's like, it could go wrong. I think that story couldn't go wrong. It was so amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that wasn't even the plan really. Initially it was like they wanted to be fair, I was getting a bit sick of him, to be honest, because he was coming to every round, and obviously I do a vlog or whatever from every round, and we were trying to think of a way how they could produce some different content for their channel and stuff like that. And like the first 2 rounds, I was like, you just fucking copy my vlog here. Like I'm saying, being a bit more professional when I talk to you, but like
just saying everything
you've
twice.
got better action footage because you've got a proper filmer there, and then they're like filling it in with bits. So I got a bit sick of them, to be honest. And then when my knee hurt, they laid back a bit. Again, I don't think it was too intentional, but by the end of it, I think they were like, fuck, this is too good not to put something all together.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, because I've got such a good relationship with Harvey, who was filming, like, I think he sensed that. I mean, I didn't mind them being around and stuff. I was more just pissed off at the fact their videos were just the same as mine. So they didn't bring out as much and were just kind of saving what they had. And obviously it came together so well. And I think he put it together in such a good way that it made sense to put it into like a long form video. And it is for like a 40 or 50 minute video. It comes together.
Good watch.
Really
good watch.
well,
yeah. I mean, your vlogs are as well. And I think before we start recording, like motorsports often kind of comes across real pro. You see the podium interviews, or you just see like a long list of sponsors, and you don't get to actually meet the person as much. Whereas 100%. I feel like
I think people are just, I don't know if it's scared or they're just not they don't show their personality.
Yeah,
and it's just weird to me because like the majority of people I meet, whether it be Supercross, MotoGP, like
boring.
They're not boring.
Yeah.
They've all got personalities. Yeah. Like every one of them. And they're just I think we went through a phase where if you weren't winning, you got shit on social media. So then to show, like, I don't know, that you were doing something on a day off, or like Sunday after you'd had a race on a Saturday playing golf, or I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, but like I think people got pretty scared to show that because they used to get so much shit. And to be fair, I never really get much hate or much shit because I think we're semi past that part now, but I used to see how much shit a lot of people would get.
Really?
Yeah, I think definitely with the Supercross guys, I feel like Americans are more prone to giving out shit and hate.
It's like fandom, isn't it? It's like different ways.
They're like all in or all out against you. And if they're against you, they have to tell, like, they like to tell you they're against you. Like, I just see on, like, some of the Supercross guys.
The Alessi's got it bad.
And
I think the Alessi's.
I think just that era of people getting so much shit, a lot of people kind of shied away from it. And I just never really understood it. And to me, it's like, I think, a lot of people think of like social media is like such a corporate thing, or like it's has to be professional, and so I see it everywhere. It's like most of it seems so robotic to me, and I hate it. Like I think, again, some people might not be interested or not care about it, which I also get. Like, let someone else manage it. Like you don't want to have a part of it, but I think a lot of people think it needs to be this robotic kind of corporate thing. Whereas to me, it's like it's your life. You need to show it and show your personality in it, and that's why I enjoy kind of everything I do with it. I do it because I want to do it. I don't do it because I feel like I have to do it. And I think that makes quite a big difference in how it comes across. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, it adds so much as well to a sport even, or like an event. Like when I watch like Hardline, if I watch Hardline without the build-up, or if I watched a SuperEnduro without your vlog, it like doesn't... The final show is one thing, but you want to hear all the story.
I think you just feel more involved in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, I would almost in some ways like to be able to plan vlogs and plan videos a bit more, but the way my schedule is in my life, it's just not. It is literally just, get the camera out. This is what's happening today. Come along. This is what's happening at the race. And like I think a bit lucky in a way, like my team around is so understanding of it and kind of happy. Like my mechanic's sweet with it. He's happy. Like everyone kind of understands me, and they all know like, okay, I do spend a lot of time on it, but I'm also putting the work in, and I think I do get the results still.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit lucky, I think, in that sense. So everyone's happy for it. Like my team managers and everyone kind of at my team's always been kind of happy to let us do it, which I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if people have had problems with that in the past. I feel like maybe some teams and stuff maybe wouldn't allow it as much.
Well, I can imagine it like it's shit, because ultimately if you get a load of views, you're still building towards this picture, but it's so performance based, isn't it? That if you don't perform, then I can imagine someone being... I actually spoken to a lot of people that have found it a really nice distraction.
Well, I was about to say, for me, it's a positive distraction, because like I can't sit around and do nothing. So a day when I need to rest or I need to have off, for me to sit and edit a vlog or 2 vlogs for 6 hours or whatever, like it's forces me to sit on the sofa and do nothing.
Yeah.
And even like at the races and stuff, like it's, there's a time when, everyone leave us alone. I'm going to put my headphones in and sit in a dark room for 20 minutes and get sorted, or like I'm not saying every race is like that, but there's definitely a balance. But to me, it's nice to just have that, and I think it just lightens kind of everybody up, really. And it's like I say, I am quite lucky. The setup in the team I have around us is so open to it and happy to allow it. But it's
you got a good tone though, dude. Like I watch yours, and they're just the perfect like balance of actually you and the event that's going on and good riding and shit. Like I struggle not to fall into the same trap as everyone else when I do them sometimes. If I don't know.
I think I watch a lot of general YouTube, not just motorbike YouTube. Like I don't watch TV ever. I haven't for probably like 10 years. I don't know. In like videos, I've always enjoyed a lot of that side of it. I've always been so into it. Like, I just sit in school and just watch where YouTube was blocked. But remember Empora, the website?
Yeah.
I just sit on Empora. That was unblocked for some reason on my school computers, and I would just sit on that. And like, I remember like Brandon Semenok, Life Behind Bars.
That was good. That's like
Webisodes. That's what they used to be called, innit? Webisodes.
Yeah.
Webisodes. Shit used to be called. Just watch that, like Atherton Project, and like I just
one of the first
spent so much time as a kid watching that kind of stuff. And then, that's something I've always wanted to do. Like I've always wanted to have that or to do that. So I think I had a good basic, good understanding. Like I say, I watch a lot of general YouTube, like away from bikes and sport, just actual vloggers and stuff like that. And I almost I like whatever I do, I kind of want to get better at it as well. Like I want to improve editing. I want to improve video. I want to I really want to, whatever I do, I spend probably too much time studying it or researching it, and I want to get better at it. So like I do, people say like they don't care about shit, or they don't care about their Instagram or whatever. Like I do, to be fair. Like I put a lot of pride in all of it. So like I say, it's nice to hear that people enjoy it, because I do spend a lot of time, probably too much time on it. But like I say, I enjoy it, so it is what it is.
Active recovery.
It is. I generally believe, for me, it is anyway. Like,
I do.
I mean, there is times when I'm still up at like 4 a.m. because I want to get a video finished. I'm like, tomorrow's going to be a bit shit, but I still do the work, and even on the days when I haven't had much sleep, I do put the effort in. So.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers don't lie, do they? You won it. I reckon you can spend more time next year. Time lapses, all sorts.
Yeah. And like I say, I do have a lot of ideas of shit I want to do more of.
Yeah.
But it is a balance. Like, the way I've always looked at that side of it is, to be honest, it isn't a priority at the minute, but one day it probably will be.
Yeah.
So however much it grows in the background is just a bonus.
Yeah, too right.
Like I say, I do care about it, but at the same time, I don't. Like, results in racing is my focus. For now, at least, I'm pretty sure one day it's going to switch, and the other side of it is going to be more important. But like, for now, I am a racer. There's races I want to win still that I haven't yet, and like, I've got a lot of goals in that sense.
Hell yeah.
So I do have a good balance of it, whereas it's just a bonus, however much this is growing in the background, for when it's like a head start for when it does become the priority.
Yeah, good way of looking at it. Right, I want to know about the bike difference between your indoor setup and your outdoor setup. But I want you to talk about it after the break. Oh, finally, we get to my favourite ad. I think it is probably my favourite because it's the easiest one.
Yeah, this one's easy, dude. If you've not got one of these, and you're a mountain biker, then what are you?
What are you, dude? You're probably not cleaning your bike.
No,
you're certainly not. I didn't clean my bike before I got one.
I'm also quite guilty of it.
I mean, I didn't even have an outside tap before I got a
you
WORX
not?
Hydra Shot. That's right. We're talking about the WORX Hydra Shot.
Yes.
I use it every single ride.
Yep. Same, mate. I'm with you almost every single ride. I'm going to say almost because that's the sort of guy I am. But I do try, and I still keep my bikes in the house. So I do have to make sure she's clean because she comes in the house, you know?
Yeah, there you go. But it is so easy because you've got the power share system. Yep. Obviously, that's the battery that comes out of, personally, my leaf blower, my impact driver, my chainsaw.
Okay.
I can carry on. Should I carry on
too.
Please,
we're doing house renovations at the moment,
Yep.
as you know, and I've got a few WORX tools in there. So I've been using a grinder, strimmer, done the garden recently.
Nice.
Impact driver.
Impact
got one of those.
Lovely, yeah.
The tyre inflator.
Oh, I need to get one of them,
That's
man.
really sick. Hoover.
The Hoover's brilliant.
And all of it works off one battery.
It does.
It's a dream.
How good is that?
Yeah,
right,
really
so there's the difference between when I first cleaned my bike with a Hydra Shot. Mm-hmm. We're on to the 56 bar version, aren't we?
Yeah, we are, mate. They've added some extra power. But
I've got to
it's
say,
not too much power.
No.
Which is nice.
It's absolutely perfect. This sounds like just something that you say in the adverts, and I bear in mind this is the adverts, but it is absolutely the perfect amount of pressure for a bike.
Totally.
Don't blow out your bearings.
Not going to blow out your bearings, exactly.
Right, shall I read some information about it?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so unlike conventional pressure washers with bulky body unit, mains connection, and garden hose attached to the tap, the new WORX Nitro high flow Hydra Shot, so that's the difference. It's the WORX Nitro high flow Hydra Shot, runs on batteries. It draws water from any source, so you can do it from a river in Wales when you're after the bike park. You can do it from wherever.
Yep.
You can do it. Bucket, pools,
bottle,
lakes, even seawater.
bath.
It's ideal for cleaning around the house and patio.
Yep.
I mean, we're talking about bikes. I did just auto cue that and just read what it said.
But it's, again, it doesn't have to be used for your bikes.
You're
That's
right.
the cool thing. We use it around the house and outside the house, you know?
And I do regularly.
Yes.
Equipped with WORX built brushless motor 2.0, this high pressure washer delivers excellent performance on powerful cleaning with a 220 litres an hour flow rate. That's a lot.
She's flowing.
She's flowing. Designed compact and portable at only 1.5 kilograms. You can take anywhere you need. It's got a 5-in-1 nozzle, actually also very useful.
Yes. Sometimes you want it on the pinpoint.
Exactly.
Clean the patio or something like that. Sometimes you want it a little bit wider. Maybe you're watering the flower beds or something like that.
Absolutely. This goes through all the other applications.
But we know them, dude. We can move on. We know them. And if you don't know them, head to uk.worx.com.
Yeah.
And if you enter the code The Ride Companion.
Yeah. Is that caps?
I have to ask. It is caps.
It's all caps, just The Ride Companion.
Yeah, just The Ride Companion. That's going to knock you 10% off.
Amazing. That's just on uk.worx.com.
Let's do 15% off.
Are you that powerful?
Yeah, we'll speak to him.
You're a podcast
master.
master.
Let's just do it for 2 weeks. 15% off. 2
weeks, 15% off.
2 weeks, 15%
uk.worx.com with the code The Ride Companion, all capitals.
And it's across the whole range, except the robot lawnmower. But everything else. So you could build out your garage a little
really
bit, man.
good,
Get yourself a Hydra Shot, get yourself a drill, grinder, strimmer, all kinds of things.
Sometimes when I feel lost in life, I actually just go on the WORX website because I can't believe they've got that many products. And
so many.
If I'm struggling for jobs to do, I'll go on the WORX website and it will actually lead me to the light. I'll find a job to do. They've got so many tools. It's insane.
Tool for everything.
Get yourself to uk.worx.com with the code The Ride Companion for 15% off for 2 weeks. I can't believe Davey's doing this, but he's doing it. He's pulling the trigger.
Yep.
Not literally, because we don't want to get the studio wet. Okay. Thanks, WORX.
Thanks, WORX.
We're back from the break.
Right,
There we go. That's
straight in.
Good break, wasn't it?
You want to refresh of the topic? Or?
I just wanted to talk about how good the break was.
How was your break?
My break was good, but the advert was brilliant, wasn't it?
Fantastic. I'll be rushing to the shop. What was it for again? Chainsaws? No, power tools.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I haven't actually got a power tool sponsor. Want to send me one?
Have you not?
No.
Oh, we'll talk. All right, done. Perfect. Okay, so the question before the break was bike setup. So when you go from SuperEnduro to the outdoors, what's the difference? Like, what do you start off with, and for each category, what do you do?
For me, not everyone has this, but for me, it's quite obvious. Like, one's 2-stroke, one's 4-stroke.
Okay.
4-stroke indoors, 2-stroke outdoors, which that's a topic you could go into for a while because 2-stroke's kind of the what everyone does hard enduro on outdoors. It's been like the only bike anyone's used forever, which no one's really tried a 4-stroke, but I do think it's a bit it's a bit. What am I looking for?
I guess to mountain bike audience, what is the biggest difference? Would you say it's weight?
Well,
is the
it's
weight
not,
the biggest
though.
reason?
That's the thing. Like when you really think about it, I don't know why everyone uses a 2-stroke, and I've used a 2-stroke.
Interesting, eh?
I don't know, and I think you could be just as competitive on a 4-stroke. No one's done it, but I generally think that. So it's tricky. But aside from the 2-stroke 4-stroke thing, because I've actually tried it. Like my lap times on a 2-stroke on a SuperEnduro track are the same pretty much.
Are they?
Yeah. So that's another thing. Like everyone thinks you have to be on a 4-stroke indoors because I ride one, but my lap times are like actual top speed, like fastest lap times are more or less the same, which blows my mind because I feel much faster on a 4-stroke.
Yeah.
Same when I ride. I've done it at a motocross track. I've had 2-stroke, 4-stroke, and almost identical, which blows my mind because I feel so much faster on a 4-stroke. But the reason I pick 4-stroke indoors, I just feel I can be more consistent at that speed.
Okay.
I struggle. I don't have much movement in my left foot because when I broke my leg back in 2018 and I damaged the nerve, so I struggle to lift my foot up. So with a 4-stroke, you don't have to change gear as much, which is kind of a big thing for me.
Right.
And I feel like the way I ride is, it's quite lazy, really. I sit down quite a lot. I kind of just hit stuff. There's probably some form of technique that I'm a bit subconsciously doing.
Probably, yeah.
But I ride quite lazy on the bike.
I like the idea of all your competitors sort of trying to master laziness.
I've noticed there's quite a bit more sitting down goes on in SuperEnduro.
Yeah?
And I actually was watching the juniors, to be fair, and I was like, "Oh, these lot." There's
method to the laziness.
There's some of my little.
Yeah, that's cool.
I've spotted a few things which you didn't used to see anyway. And
yeah.
So the way I ride, and I just enjoy riding a 4-stroke, to be honest. But then, so aside from the engine, suspension is quite a bit different in the setup. For hard enduro, it's all kind of like super soft, all about just maximum traction.
Yeah.
There's kind of no regard for safety, really. Like, it's so dangerous going fast on a hard enduro setup. Like, we do, because the speed we go in races is as fast as the bike can go. Because, you're not always climbing up the side of a cliff. Obviously, you've at times got to get to the cliff, so you'd be on like single track, forest roads, stuff like that. So that gets pretty sketchy, to be honest, going that fast on.
Why? Because
just the suspension's so soft, the tires are so soft.
Yeah.
There's just so much movement going on. Yeah, wallowy more than anything. No hold up. Like, if you hit a big impact, you're just blowing through, bottoming out. Like, it's
right.
Kind of hard to describe in a mountain bike term, really. I mean, the thing that comes to mind is basically like riding like a downhill track on a cross-country bike, which isn't the same because the whole bike's different. But
no, I do understand.
That's not really that relatable, to be honest. But it's just like doing something on a bike which isn't designed to be doing. Yeah. Ultimately, just with how soft the suspension is,
and that's the in-between sections, which unfortunately are the fastest bits. Yeah.
Which, and often on some days, again, it's hard to be specific because every race is so fucking different. Yeah. But in some situations, like, we can do 150 kilometers in a day, and 70 of that could be fast riding, and 30 of that could be super technical riding. Yeah. But the problem is, you have to set your bike up for the difficult sections because you can lose so much time there. Yeah. In the fast sections, you gain and lose very little time. Seconds, really, usually. Like, you can be on there might be a 20-minute long checkpoint that's only fast riding, and there's matter of seconds between each rider, whereas you can make it. Most hills will try and go straight for as long as possible, then start zigzagging, finding lines, finding traction. But if you can go straight for an extra 20 feet, that's probably 4 or 5 zigzags, which is probably 2 minutes.
Yeah.
the time you gain and lose on the difficult sections is massive. So you have to set your bike up for the difficult sections and just survive for the fast sections. Whereas Super Enduro, you're literally just smashing into obstacles as hard as you can, realistically. So and it's a 7 minute long race, so you can survive for 7 minutes. And the bike just needs to be able to take an impact of smashing into a log or a tractor tire or concrete pipe.
Makes sense. What other stuff in hard enduro is there? Because I from watching like Erzberg or Romaniacs, like when even front runners get stuck, it's like it's so heartbreaking because you can see you're like fatigued.
Yeah,
you're trying to yank this big bike around. Like, what other bits are there on a hard enduro setup?
So like it's kind of super mellow power, just all for traction, just as much torque as you can possibly get out of the engine, really.
So it's turned down.
Yeah, or definitely produce as much low end power as possible. Erzberg is a little bit different because the open hills and the quarries they are so wide open, so you have to have a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But yeah, toned down just so it's manageable and just it's pretty much all about finding traction, really. So like super soft tires, like soft compound and a soft mousse inside. Like to a normal person, they'd be like, "You've got a puncture." Like there's nothing. You push on the tire and there's nothing inside, pretty much. Which again is fucking so sketchy to ride fast, but you kind of get used to it, really. But yeah, there's really not too much else, I would say. Like it's a fairly stockish bike. Like there's tires, mousses, suspension.
Yeah.
A little bit going on in the engine, but I mean, not a big difference. But like the actual physical part of a bike, like visuals of a bike, it's all fairly similar, to be honest.
And what about the introduction of electric vehicles into the realm?
Oh God. It's coming, whether you like it or not, it's coming.
I know, eh? So what's the view? Because obviously in mountain biking, if you've been into mountain biking since you almost started on e-bike, right?
Yeah, that was,
and it caused like big controversy, and still does. But like in moto, it's kind of it's almost bigger. I don't know. It's like
it's definitely. I mean, I would say this year has been the first year it's been around or been. I need to be politically correct here, I think. This is good. I'm walking on a tightrope here.
You've seen people use them.
Yeah, and I think this year it's the first year where it could generally be in a race together.
Okay.
Whether it should or not, that's another debate. Like, if it's the same thing, is it not? Like, I don't...
Yeah.
It's hard to know. Like I say, it's so hard to know what the right thing to do is. It's so new, and I feel like in mountain biking, although it be completely different, like you wouldn't race fucking pedaling up a hill against one, but it's still relatively the same thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, okay, mountain biking, they don't race against each other. Does that tell you everything you need to know for motorbikes? I don't know. Like, it's so new, it's hard to say, and you don't almost... At some point, that's the way the world's going to go, innit? Like, at some point in time, you're probably not going to be allowed to have more petrol engines or whatever. You're not going to be allowed to produce new ones. I don't know.
Well, at some point we run out, which is a weird thought, isn't it?
That's what I mean. Like, so I don't want to say they're a load of shit and like they shouldn't. They should be banned from everything because probably I'm going to end up on one at some point of my lifetime. I don't know. Like, it's weird, and I don't envy the people that have got to make the decisions of how you integrate it whatsoever, because it is so difficult. Like, it's such a new thing. I mean, allegedly, if I'd been on one, they're fucking fast.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, any electric vehicle, like, you go in an electric car and the speed of them is fucking ridiculous. So, like, from a power side of it, and then just the way power arrives and how power is generated, it's so different.
The clutches. So I'm really interested in it, talking to you, because you know, you're not changing gear a lot around a super enduro track, right? How much are you changing gear?
Very rare, almost never.
Okay, so what gear do you get in?
Second
gear race, right?
A lot of tracks are starting second, and I won't change.
However, on a hard enduro track, you're obviously all the way through a gearbox, and so that makes it closer for a bike. I don't even know what you call
Yeah,
them.
what do you call them?
I don't know.
I think that hasn't been decided yet.
No, I know, eh? You use a clutch a lot?
Yeah, all day long. And
So-
again, the gear thing, you kind of traditionally, like, I mean, on a really fast, wide open hill climb, you'd hit it in third, go down to second,
Yeah.
give it a bit of clutch, a bit of fucking jumping up and down on the seat, trying to like thrust the handlebars a little bit to keep going, and then eventually end up in first and start zigzagging. But if you're not running out of gears, does it continue? Like, I don't know. I
I don't know.
haven't tried one in that situation, to be honest, so I don't know how it works, but
In my head, it's so weird. Like, the
It
thought
is
of it on
weird.
a supercross track, because so much is based on, like, a jump will be like a gear, won't it? From what I understand,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk out of turn because I
No,
hate
no.
watching podcasts where
Yeah.
people get it wrong and they.
No,
but-
that's right. And like the people I know that have rode them have all said like jumping is the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
And also the pitch of the bike changes in midair. Because
Yeah.
if you think you would usually hit a jump in second or third gear and you have a panic rev,
Yeah.
your rear wheel's only going to spin the maximum speed of second gear. Whereas now, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the back wheels going 150 kilometers an hour, probably. I don't fucking know, but
Yeah.
they've said it's just mad.
And upper lip, like you're gonna have to have way more like throttle sensitivity, I would guess.
Because also like engine brake as well.
yeah,
It's just weird. That's why like the more you think about it, the more weird it gets.
Yeah.
Which is why I think the harder it is to merge it.
yeah,
And like I don't know, I don't have a strong opinion whether this should be allowed to merge or not.
no, okay,
I just think it's still too new and still too unknown. But I think, yeah, whoever makes that decision is a difficult decision, put it that way.
yeah, isn't it? I think about it in like Formula E as well. Like, I don't know. There's just something
bit
about no
against-
gears is so weird.
I'm a bit. I don't want to get in trouble by people here.
No,
but
I
I'm
know,
a bit
maybe we
against the. No, I'm more against the saving the planet part of it.
Yeah,
When you think the logistics of racing one,
yeah,
it's not a big difference. You're probably out in the middle of nowhere needing to charge it with a generator running, like that side of it. But at the end of the day, like that's probably, like I said, the way the world's going to work. The way
I've just done a long journey. I drove to Germany in one, and we stopped off to charge. And at a couple of charging stations, I don't even know how they work, but it seemed like it was a massive diesel generator, and we were all linked up to it. Like there was a box, and it was going. So I assume it was doing something, right? I could be completely wrong, but yeah, I don't think it's quite.
I don't
there
buy
yet.
into that side of it. I think it's cool. Don't get us wrong. If you can have a track in the middle of a city, or
Yeah.
also for kids, like it's so accessible. Go and ride in your garden. You're not annoying your neighbours. Like there's definitely a lot of advantages going to come from it. It's just the merging part, which I think's
All right.
weird.
Yeah,
And again, I don't feel strongly either way. I just know
it's convenient.
whoever it has to fucking make them decisions is
Tough, eh?
scratching his head, going, "What the fuck do we do here?"
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I think the clutch thing is weird. They've had trials bikes before with it though,
Yeah, I
with
think
clutches, haven't they?
I think the trials bikes now have them.
Yeah,
And they use.
I think
I mean,
so. There's
I've
a
not
Yam
been
one
on
of
that
them.
trials bike, well, any of the electric trials bikes since I was riding trials, but they had a clutch back then, but it wasn't that good. But the videos I see of them doing, well, electric trials bike won trial 2, the first round of the World Championship.
Did it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And that's got a clutch. So obviously they're not trash. They're not.
No, and then the videos of what the guys are doing on the trials bikes now, are, like good, like some big steps, and they've got good riders riding them now. Like it's a thing in trials. It's definitely a thing. Like that Gas has one, Yamaha has one, Electric Motion was the original one.
Yeah.
Like, and like I said, the Gas won 12-2 at the first round of the World Championship. So
There you go. Right, I want to ask you about trials. Do you still ride trials? Trials is obviously your roots.
yeah, rarely. I do a little bit. I think I will. I'm actually semi keen to kick it off again. There's a bit of recovery coming back from my knee. I think I find it. I can visualize myself pottering about on a trials bike and just playing on some rocks. as a bit safer for the early stages than ragging around a motocross track and dragging my bars around a left-handed rut. I think. So I think I probably will get one in the next few weeks. But yeah, I do it a little bit. I do still enjoy it when I do it. Trials is good. Like, it's a good social event.
Yeah.
You know, it's laid back. It's slow paced. It's chilled. Like, it's you can egg your mates on to try something. Like, that side of it's cool. Like, if I went and did an actual event now, the pace of it is just, it's pretty boring, to be honest. Like, it's...
Yes, it's super interesting because you're a two-wheel guy and, like, your path to it is via trials. So you can see in your riding, it's, like, obviously mega important in SuperEnduro and hard enduro, whatever. But, like, where did all the pace come from? Because it's...
Yeah, I think you've kind of got to unlearn some things when you start enduro, especially now. I think 10 years ago, you could kind of... A trials rider could jump on an enduro bike.
Is it? Yeah.
And be successful, be podium guy, whatever. But now, hard enduro has become more specialized in, like, the fast sections are fast. You've got to learn to ride fast and ride motocross and stuff like that.
So when did you start? Did you ride any moto before?
Never, until I made the switch. I made the switch in 2016. Man.
Yes, I mean, it's not recent, but it's...
Yeah, I made the switch in 2016 and I signed with Factory Husky for 2017. So, like, I mean, I was pretty shit when I first signed. Well, I wasn't shit. I was fast, but I was fucking dangerous. Like, I was actually watching some videos of us ride motocross from, like, back in when I first started, and it was fucking dangerous. Like, I enjoyed, like, and I was quick. I was fairly quick from the start, and I used to be able to ride a trials bike quick, and, like, I always visioned myself changing to enduro, to be honest.
Did you?
Because I'd seen riders, when I was a kid, I was a fan of everything. Like, I'd watch motocross, watch World Enduro, I'd watch MotoGP, obviously watch trials, I'd watch mountain bikes. Like, I followed everything.
Yeah.
Had magazines for everything.
So and speed you're really again, like, I didn't from the start.
I mean, I didn't, like I said, I didn't do motocross at all, but I always just, I mean, this might sound a bit weird, but I always felt like I'd be quite good at it. Do you know what I mean?
It turned out you're right, yeah.
I don't know, I was a fan of it, I watched it so much, I don't know, like, that might sound cocky or what.
No, it's just,
it just felt like it was natural, and I'd seen a lot of trials riders that changed over to enduro and being successful. Like, that's just a formula that's always happened. Like, you know, David Knight, Johnny Walker, Graham Jarvis, Tyre Blazusiak, Alfredo Gortmas. Like, it's an endless list of world level trials riders made the switch. So I'd seen them, and obviously because I also followed enduro from being such a young kid or whatever, like, I'd always knew that link was there.
Yeah.
And I did always envision myself doing that. I mean, I probably would have planned to be in trials a little bit longer, and I would have liked, you know, I wanted to be world trials champion. Like, that was my dream. Like, that's what I wanted to do. And then I see myself changing over, but it just worked out that, like, the opportunity just wasn't there in trials. Like, I just didn't, there's a lot. I did 2 years pretty much at, like, a world, then it was called World Junior Championships. Now it's Trial 2. And I don't think it has an age limit now, but basically it was like the second class of the World Championship. I did pretty much 2 years of that, and, like, it's just so competitive. There was, like, probably 10 of us that could win, and then at the end of the year, like, 2 or 3 rides available. Like, just
it's tough, eh?
And it wasn't. I did them 2 years, like, massively relying on parents and sponsors and stuff like that, and it just wasn't available to go and do it like that. Didn't for another year.
It was going anywhere.
Yeah, and like I say, there was no better ride available. It was going to be another year of doing it like that. And then, like I say, had a few people kind of, well, I'd always been told, like, the speed I ride around, like, I'd go to a club trial and the speed I would ride in between sections and stuff like that. Everyone used to say to us, like, you need to enduro. And it was just like that time, man, I was figuring out, like, okay, if I want to ride motorbikes and be a professional motorbike rider, this is probably going to have to happen sooner rather than later. So yeah, I made the switch December 2015. Started really in 2016, and then signed with Factory Husky for 2017.
That's good going.
It's pretty fucking mad. Like, I say, when I first signed, I was a lunatic. I just crashed my brains out. I hit trees. I wrote both my shoulders off the first year doing enduro just from hitting trees.
But I could see you had something clearly.
Yeah, I went to Erzberg my first year, and I was 5th, I think. I qualified on the second row. I messed qualifying up, so I started on the second row and finished 5th. And like from then, pretty much, I did a few more races. I don't think I actually finished many of them. Like I'd showed enough, and then I didn't realize at the time, but the team manager then who'd signed us, or one of them at least, actually said so before Romaniacs you have a prologue which is in the street. You might have seen it, like wooden ramps and shit.
Yeah.
So the day before that you have like a press day where you ride like half of the track, and there was probably like 10, 12 logs in a row. I might have lodged that. It might have been like 7 or 8, but there was like a load of logs laid out in a row, and I went across them all on the back wheel in press day, and it was like, it went quite viral at the time. It was like the first video I'd done that like went pretty mad. And the team manager was like, I knew then, like, I was going to sign you. And that was from press day. And like, I didn't finish the race. I blew my bike. Oh, I actually got lost and stuck by a lake and stranded for 6 hours the first day. Like, arrived back to the paddock 10:30 at night, like thinking, what the fuck am I doing? Like that week was the biggest eye opener. I was just like, because all the other races were fairly small, confined races. You go to Romania, so it's mountains, like in the mountains, in the wild, and that was like, wow, what the fuck's happening here? Kept going, and then eventually my bike broke my radiator and blew my bike up on the last day. So I didn't even finish the race, but
the 8 to 12 logs did it.
The stunt I'd produced in press day, I mean, at the time I didn't know that's what had done it, but like, I think it was last year, the year before, he was like, no, I knew from press day, like, you needed to be signed.
That's rad, that is.
So that's why I like tell kids now, like, you never know what it's going to be that someone's going to see, so you got to fucking go out and do your best, or like put on a show whenever you're in a position where there might be a spotlight. Like I say,
do what you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like I say, I sucked at Romaniacs most years I've done it, until like the last couple of years I got my head around it a bit more, and like the last 2 times I've been surviving with injuries and stuff, so I haven't really had a proper crack at it since. But like press day, the day before the race, that's like my day. I'm like, no one's touching me.
Showtime.
Press day, yeah. And it was the same in trials, to be honest. Like the day before in the practice area and stuff, I was always pretty good in the practice area, but just wasn't good enough.
I'm fascinated to go from the trials I've been to. They're like really nice atmosphere. That's a nice family atmosphere. You're in your wellies, you're knocking about. The bikes are quite quiet.
That's how I ended up in trials, to be honest, because I actually did 4 races of schoolboy motocross when I was 6 on a 50. I don't really class it as motocross, but like on a 50 riding around, and my parents just didn't like the atmosphere whatsoever. Yeah. Which, coming back now, I can fully understand.
But you went from that to Erzberg. Like, that's a massive jump in it. Yeah, it's not like didn't fancy any regional enduros or anything. You went to Erzberg straight away.
Yeah, pretty much. Did a couple of smaller ones. Did Tong, which is quite a big race in England. It's always in January, like a mud race, start of every year. That was my first big race, which I whole shot. And then fucking shit myself, because David Knight was like right behind us, and he's not the friendliest to race against, so he's like smashing into my back wheel in the first river we dropped into, and I'm just thinking, well, what the fuck am I doing here? And then thought I was great for half of it, doing well. I think I was in 3rd. Did I end up 4th? I don't know. I was doing well for like half of it, and then the wall hit, and I was fucked. I couldn't undress myself at the end of it. I was that tired.
Mate, it's a real sharp learning curve, eh?
Yeah. I think luckily, I mean, as well, like I had no fitness. I wasn't professional. I was still relying on like sponsors and stuff that year. I would go and work like a couple of days a week for one of my sponsors, get enough cash to go and put in my Citroen Berlingo and drive around the country to go and train or race for the rest of the week. Go back up to Newcastle, do like a couple of days, just shit jobs, whatever anyone wanted us to do for a few £100, and then that was it. So I wasn't really training properly. Like, I had no fitness whatsoever, but I was, doing good enough, I guess, when I was performing, or like before I got tired in races and stuff, to show that I knew what I was doing and I could ride a bike.
Yeah, what a journey, dude, to a job. It's pretty crazy.
It was fast.
You mentioned fitness. I think that's an interesting one. Like, I know any mountain bike, anyone on the periphery of mountain biking, you mentioned motocross, and I think people didn't realise what level anyone was at until when Dungy had like a Nike deal or something, and they measured his resting heart rate, and they were like, "Well, it's the same as Lance Armstrong or something." like doing a full Supercross race, or doing like one of yours requires quite a gnarly level of fitness, despite the engine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would put myself in their league of fitness,
but
I think it's so different. Like, this is a weird topic as well, especially for me to talk about, because, like, I don't know, I don't feel like I mean, I'm not stupid. I obviously do have a good level of fitness to do the races I do and to be competitive like I am. But I mean, it's not something I really prioritize that much, which also might sound stupid to say, but I've spent a lot. I mean, if I think about it, I spent a lot of my career injured. So therefore, I've been in the gym, rehabbing, building. Like, I've got a pretty good knowledge of what I need. I don't have like a set training program or anything strict regime or anything like that, which I think I'm a bit lucky in a sense with my racing and my schedule you can get away with. It's not like we race 17 rounds of Supercross, 18 weekends out of 17 weekends out of 18, and this is what we need to do, bish, bash, bosh. Whereas my race is like, I say, one's 2 hours, one's 4 hours, one's 5 days, one's 7 minutes.
Yeah.
I feel like
so it's so broad.
It's hard to be strict, and in my head, it doesn't. The strict Excel spreadsheet of wake up 22 minutes on a spin bike, brush your teeth at this time, have a nap at this time, like that. That doesn't fit my life and my lifestyle and my personality, and I don't think it fits my sport either, which I think I'm semi-lucky in a way, and I think I can go out riding motocross one day, that's beneficial. I can go riding trials one day, that's beneficial. I can go and ride for 4 hours, free riding, making new trails.
Yeah. So bike time's key, is it?
To me, it is, and just with my character. And I think also, like, I spent, as a kid, obviously, in the city, middle of Newcastle, could only ride on weekends and stuff like that. I think now I've obviously, have the availability, the bikes there, the stuff to ride every day, or if I wanted to ride every day, like, that's... I don't know, I feel like I was deprived so much of doing that as a kid. I'm still like I'll go and ride motocross all day, then get my two-stroke out and go and ride for 3 hours, hard enduro on a night time. Like, that's just what I do, how I've done things. And like I say, I can understand why in some forms of motorsport that doesn't work. But then at the same time, I don't want to say I've never been in a gym or I don't spend much time in a gym, because if I actually think about it, I've been injured quite a bit and I've actually spent quite a lot of time in there. But I think, I don't have anything strict set in stone.
No, interesting.
And I think me and Manny, who have kind of, I would say, pushed the level of the sport in the last few years, I have a similar view and outlook on it, which is where, like, when, how does Tommy put it? Which is quite good, really. He's like, you don't need to be on the program, because you two, luckily the two of you is at the top of the sport on the program. There's a way he puts it, which is quite funny, really, which I think, resonates quite good, really. And, like, in some ways we're lucky. We can just fuck around and ride bikes, and luckily the results are still working. I mean, there's probably going to be maybe there's a time when it wears off and then it has to become more of a serious thing. I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense what you're saying. Like, it's quite hard to specialise.
But I also think, I mean, I think there is still some sense of that in mountain biking. I think there's still a few guys that are just riding and being successful from riding and bike time and that side of it.
I think definitely,
it's a weird topic, fitness, and you see that, because, like, it's a bit like everything. Like, some days I wake up, don't care whatsoever, like, fuck it, I just want to ride my bike. Some weeks I'm like, about to order a Whoop band and like, oh, let's do some fucking sleep testing and all this shit. Like, I am interested. Like, I am interested in it.
Yeah.
At times. And then there's times when the fucking weather's good, I'm like, fuck going to a gym. Like, I'm going to a motocross track, then going on the moors and riding for 3 hours. Like, I have a lot of personalities, I feel like, or a lot of views on it. Some days I wake up, I'm all in. Again, same with everything. Some days I'll wake up and I'll be like, fuck, going to races, I'm just going to make videos. I don't care about racing anymore. Then the next day I wake up and be like, no, I'm going to the gym today. Like,
everyone's so different as well. It's so weird, isn't it? Like, you look at some people and you think they train loads and loads. Or
one thing I think has helped me a lot is I've understood what I need mentally.
Okay.
To perform, and there's just some like small weird things that like if I've satisfied with this on the build up to a race, like that's good enough for me. Like there might be two options of going riding somewhere and doing this or going riding somewhere and doing that. Like I might only need to go to a track and ride around for 15 minutes, but I've ticked off the box I want to tick off. Like I don't want to go into detail, like give all the secrets away. But like there's small weird things.
So you've got your checklist. Yeah,
that's good. I've got like I would say a good understanding of my mental checklist, and I feel like confidence is like the biggest thing about any performance comes from confidence, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've got a good mental checklist of what I need to feel confident and to be happy and arrive, happy, confident, and I don't know, touch wood, I do all right.
I obviously don't race a series or do anything like that, but I do know exactly what you mean in that I went and rode my like jump bike, which is the thing I grew up doing. I went and rode that yesterday. And unless I ride that and feel like I'm good at that, I feel shit at everything else. Like it doesn't matter even how much I'm riding. I have to ride that one bike. It's well weird.
I'm also, and also it changes. It's not like a set checklist, but like some weeks I'll be like, okay, want to do this day, don't care about anything, just smash some motors out, don't care about lap times, like don't give a shit, just want to ride for 7 minutes 4 times, and that's a good day. Next day I could turn up and I'll just feel like, okay, I don't care about doing motors, just want to hit this rhythm, tick that off the list, right? And then I arrive to the race and I'm in a good position. Like it changes, but like I think understanding, and again it's so different, so individual to each person, but understanding what you need is a big asset.
Yeah, too right. Yeah, right. We've got listener questions.
You listeners know who I was.
Of course, they know who you are.
Okay, that's good.
We're going to get into the listener questions after this ad break. Companionship. Are you looking to take ownership of your health? Introducing AG1, a powerful daily nutrition supplement designed by scientists to support your body's needs. AG1 is a comprehensive and convenient blend of over 70 high-quality ingredients packed with vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced nutrients.
With just one scoop each morning mixed with water, AG1 helps to support your brain, heart, energy, and immune system. It's a powerfully simple way to start your day right. While we have a degree of individuality, science tells us that the human body is interconnected, which is why AG1 contains over 70 ingredients to support your baseline nutrition. Drink AG1 is the best way to feel reassured that you're supporting your body with a broad range of nutrients it needs. AG1 isn't just another supplement, it's a morning ritual, a timely habit that fits seamlessly into your routine. And it does fit into my routine.
Dude, it does,
because I just do it in the morning before anything. Apparently you're meant to have it on empty stomach, which I actually quite like. I take it with me in my little AG1 shaker and just go walk the dog.
I do it empty stomach every time, actually. Yeah. Because it said on the instructions, and I did what was on the instructions.
Like, that's you know what I mean? The sort of people we are.
Davey, what are the benefits?
Well, Ollie, they speak for themselves. From sustained energy throughout the day to immune support and stress management, AG1 has you covered. Plus, AG1 is NSF certified for sport, ensuring the highest quality ingredients and manufacturing standards. Ready to take the next step in your wellness journey? Visit drinkag1.com/ridecompanion today for a special offer. We are going to give you free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your next purchase.
So that's drinkag1.com/the ride companion.
That's right, mate. Yeah.
Nice.
drinkag1.com/ride companion.
Take ownership of your health with AG1. Check it out now. We're back in another great ad break. Want it?
Sold. I'm sold.
When I say it, you've got to agree.
I'm sold.
Big time. Good. All right. Good. I'm glad. We've got loads. I think we've got the most listener questions that we've ever had, which is quite mental considering.
I better start selling myself a bit harder to my mountain bike sponsors.
Yeah, you need to, dude.
Big deal, I promise.
We only put it out. Yeah, well, we didn't know we were doing it.
It's only the whole thing's on 12 hours.
Yeah, good turnaround, dude. Congrats. This is a lot of questions. We'll just do a few of them. I'm gonna have to be quite ruthless with them. Bizarre Datui, that's the name of the person. Are you racing Erzberg this year?
Sadly not. It's
No,
next
Erzberg.
weekend.
So is that near or is that?
I'm commentating though, so I'll be there. You'll see my face on the screen, I think, at the start, and then have the delight of my voice for 4 hours for how the race goes on. If this,
is it 4 hours? Yeah.
Well, it's a 4 hour time limit at Erzberg, so 500 people start, and then it usually takes the winners 2 hours ish, and you get 4 hours to complete it. Which is why it's not a lot of people finish, because there's a 4 hour cut-off point. So yeah, you probably have my voice to deal with for 4 hours if you're going to listen.
I'm sure you're a natural, dude. You'll feel that time easy. I mean, this is flown by.
I'm hoping there's a professional going to kind of lead the way. It's the same as Hardline, so I don't actually think Warner's doing it this year, which is a shame. But yeah, I'm guessing there's someone else that actually knows how to commentate.
You're at Hardline.
No, it's the same weekend as Hardline. So usually Warner commentates Erzberg.
Got you.
But it's the same weekend as Hardline. So when I seen him the other week, he said he wasn't doing it. But I am guessing they've got some form of professional to lead the way, and I'll just chirp in with some intel on the sport, I'm guessing.
Nice. I've got. So we've gone from Erzberg to the Black Country Biker has asked, will you do Western again?
I would like to. I can't confirm or deny any of
Western is legendary.
Western's
race, isn't it?
Probably my favourite race of the year. I don't want to say
for real. Yeah,
I fucking love it. It's just carnage, and I don't know why. I don't find it's difficult in Tyre, and don't get us wrong, but it's a kind of a bit of a less of an intense race than I'm used to, and I just enjoy it. Like, I ride around with a smile on my face, pin it down that straight every lap for a minute, and you just think this is fucking cool. And like the whole event, it's such a big event, and I think for the UK, people definitely don't realise how big it is. When you actually go and you're part of it, it is fucking massive, and it's to have an event of that size in the UK for off-road motorsport is cool, and I think it is to be supported. And like I said, I fucking love it. It's a great race.
Right.
So I'm not confirming or denying for this year. I think it's October, so there's a good chance I'll be healthy, but yeah, we'll see.
Fuck yeah, you got to think of it like that, haven't you?
Again, I don't know what
wild old sport you're in.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be contracted to go and do by the end of the year. Like, if it's free and Husky letters, I'll be there. If not, it's because I've been sent somewhere else against my will. What a shame.
Have you been to Le Touquet? Have you raced
there?
No,
I've not. I've actually not been to Le Touquet. I've been to Red Bull Knockout. I don't know if you've seen that one. They ran that for a few years. That was in Holland, in The Hague, which was massive. So when I won the World Enduro Super Series in 2018, that was the final round. And that's the only beach race I've done abroad. That was I did Western that year to prepare for Knockout. That's how I kind of started doing beach races. I just fucking loved them all. Like, the whole concept of beach racing, I think, is just so cool. So Le Touquet is on my bucket list to do one day. I couldn't believe
how big that race was.
Yeah, massive.
Like, I went when I was a kid, and I'd never really seen helicopters.
Yeah.
I went to watch as a kid, and
the whole town shuts down. Like, the whole town.
Insane, isn't it? Yeah.
I was going to go and watch one year when Nathan Watson was going to win the beach race championship. They have like a French beach race championship, and it was all like a last minute plan. And then we realised we weren't going to arrive early enough before they closed the town. No one else can enter.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, that's big.
Yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare in a small town.
Yeah,
something that big going on.
Even Western, it's pretty much on lockdown. It's just motorbike people in that whole town that whole weekend.
Yeah.
Really, it's sick.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Right, Sean Soulsby has asked, what have you done to your FE 350 engine?
I haven't done anything to it. I just ride it. We should probably ask an engine builder that.
What's it like? Is it all secret? Do you keep it away from each other?
I mean, within the team of all the riders, but between the KTM group, Austrian, everyone kind of know. Pretty much all. I mean, we get choice of certain parts to put in them. Nothing's a secret really amongst obviously the team and stuff. I mean, I generally don't know. Wouldn't know what's different to a stock one. I know the things I can choose from in the parts that we have available. I do think our 4-stroke engine is quite trick. So I couldn't tell you. You'll have to ask a mechanic. But it's
do you feel
nice.
it if you ride a stock versus your race bike?
Quite a big
pretty
difference.
crazy.
Especially for SuperEnduro, because it's kind of a specialist thing. Really,
yeah.
It's not. Put it this way. It's not fun riding a SuperEnduro bike anywhere else. Even riding motocross on it, which I do most of the winter, it's not fun. Well, it is fun, but it's like, for a hobby guy, they're better off on a stock one, trust us.
Oh, that is so rad. I just can't imagine what that bike's like now.
It's cool.
Does it rip your arms off?
No, it's not, because it's such a the few people I've let ride have actually said they can't believe how slow it is. But it's just the way the power arrives and how aggressive. Well, and also my bike's not. I would say I like a slightly slower bike than most people because I like to ride it so aggressively and on the clutch so much. So I kind of set my bike up a bit slower to then encourage a more aggressive riding style and just fucking rag it. And
I find it so interesting, I've got to say, because I've like after biking for so long, you get a bit over people talking about suspension in biking, you know, in mountain biking. Yeah. You're a bit like, you've heard it all before. You've heard like, just hearing someone talk about what they want to do with an engine just makes me like, gives me that like initial hype that I had when I was a kid. Like,
there's way more tweaking and shit going on in mountain bikes than there's motorbikes.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I don't know. I think there's more teams, put it that way. So there's more different ideas floating around. There's more mechanics. There's more just people putting input, I think.
Nerds.
Well, nerds. They're all nerds, aren't they? I mean, well, for my mechanic's definitely not a nerd. He's fucking... Bless him. He'll find that funny. But yeah, like, I don't know. I'm watching Vital MTB at every World Cup to see what I just find that interesting.
It's fun, isn't it? Yeah. It is fun.
But I think there is definitely more tweaking going on. Yeah, a lot of it I think is tweaking for tweaking's sake.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. But then again, like at Fort William, you had a podium filled with people all with lockout. So then it makes you think like, fuck, they got suspension lockout.
Yeah,
like, do you have to have suspension lockout? Like, the podium would suggest yes. Like,
yeah, it is. That's definitely the talk of the mountain bike world at the minute. Lecky suspension.
That's all we got. Can't talk about the engine, can we? Dale Norman's asked, are you doing any more MTB events?
Fuck, I wish I could plan to do some. I definitely will do some. 100%. I have no plans locked in, but I will do some, definitely.
Wicked. Shake and Bake 1. He's asked, have you got any tips to help Brendan on the hill climbs? This is very relevant. Brendan's bought a replica of your bike, hasn't he? He's been influenced.
Brendan's exerted my knowledge. He knows everything I need to know. So if he doesn't succeed at Serbia, it's all on him.
Has he been hounding you?
No, he hasn't been hounding us. He's asked a few questions, to be fair. I think it's just cool that he wants to do it, to be honest. I think, like, to me, it's cool that he wants to go and do it for. I think your sport's cooler than our sport. So the fact he wants to go and do it, I think, is pretty sick.
He loves it.
Yeah, he's so excited. He is generally so excited. Like, he went and picked his bike up the other day. He sent us a picture. He's like, what sprockets do I need? Yeah. What boots do I need? What do I need to have in my camelback? Like, he's fucking loving it, bless him.
Yeah, he does. I think it's like a classic example of a mountain biker wishing he was a moto rider. But Bren, I think, naturally is like really good at enduro. Like, that feels very stupid saying it to you. But like, naturally, as in he doesn't have to practice. He like...
No, like, and ours, obviously, I mean, I guess there's different classes in mountain bikes, but he's doing like the silver route, which is the second hardest, which I said to him will be perfect. Like, it'll be a challenge. It'll be difficult for him to get to the finish, but he's not going to be like stuck on a mountain for 8 hours and worried about dying or bears or something like that. Like, I think he'll really enjoy it. I'm quite excited to hear his reports after it.
Yeah, too right. Wicked. Right, how much time we got left? Can we get some more questions in? Nice. Okay. Feltham Kev. I feel like some of these are enduro riders. Are you still keen to have a go on his Husky sidecar, or have you chickened out?
Well, I haven't chickened out. Just time is of the essence, and plan a trip around coming and having a go on a sidecar is difficult at the minute. But at some point, I'll have a go.
All right, good. Yeah, I think he'll be holding you to that, won't he?
I've seen him pop up in quite a few question boxes, so I'm guessing he is holding it to his yes.
Robert Beshier has asked you, will you be at Romaniacs this year?
Sorry, was there more? I've cut you off.
No, that's it. I mean, it's unbelievable how many... I thought these were going to be loads of mountain bike questions. Just sort of they don't get it, but you've got a lot of people here asking really specific enduro-related questions. It's very impressive. Yeah.
Hardcore following. Just come with us wherever I go, bless them. I'm not don't think... Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll be racing Romania. I hope to be back on a bike by then, but to go and do that as my first race, is just a lot. And I think hard enduro for a knee is a bit sketchy, just like I was saying before. They're racing the track blind. You don't know what's coming around the corner. Yeah. You don't make it up a hill. You've got to jump off and keep hold of the bike. There's a lot of knee twisting possibilities there. So I expect to be on a bike by then, but I think there's very little chance I'll race Romaniacs.
Cool. I think this is a cool question, actually. Mustard Hater has asked the toughest race you've done. I feel like you're a good person to ask that.
Yeah. If I just had to say it in general, I'd probably pick Romaniacs.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the longest, most brutal. Like, it is the hardest.
Physically, it's the hardest.
And then Alès Trem, there's also a race in France which is really difficult, but it's only one day. So like again, our sport, there's that much complexity to it. If that was 4 days, that probably would be the hardest. But the thing with Romania is there's like 4 off-road days of riding completely different ground. Like, it covers such a big area, and like, especially coming from the UK, I feel like there's nothing can compare you to Romania. Like, prepare you, for Romaniacs. Everyone can say like, you're in the mountains, like it's gnarly, it's sketchy, whatever. You just think, yeah, whatever, I'll be fine. Like, you're in the mountains. Like, there's times when you go for hours without seeing another form of life, another rider.
Really, it's proper
no
out
spectator.
There it is,
like you'd be on like ridges and shit. You know, like when you see snowboard movies and they get off a helicopter and they're like on the peak of a mountain, and it's just like massive drop. Yeah, you ride along like ridges like this. Maybe they're not like to a point, but like you'd be on ridges and you think, 5 foot that way I'm going to die, and 5 foot that way I'm going to die, and you're just like, what am I doing on a motorbike up here? Like, this is
still going as quick as you can.
Well, yeah, trying to. Obviously, in them situations, there's an element of survival going on. But yeah, you end up in situations where you just think, what am I doing on a motorbike up here?
I've actually got a question. I noticed on crazy steep descents, do you turn the motor off?
Yeah, turn off. Sometimes you even get off.
Why do you turn the motor off?
Often you're just going that steep, and it's easier to just turn the bike off and use the clutch as like a rear brake.
Ah, is it?
So you're like clutch in, clutch out, clutch in, clutch out.
Yeah, so it's like trying to bump.
Because, well, you don't want to start the bike, but like, one reason also you're fucking pressing, you're going down hills for that long, pressing the back brake the whole time. You get your quads cramp up. Also, your brakes fade. Like, often your brake just goes to nothing. You've been on it so much. Like, that's rare these days, to be honest. That was more with older style brakes and discs and stuff. Now brakes are pretty good, but and often you might need to dab with your right foot. Whereas if you're using your right foot to brake, you can't take your foot off. You end up crashing. So if you're like on and off the clutch to let the back wheel roll and lock up, you can put your right foot on the ground.
There's a lot going on.
Just feels safer, to be honest, in a lot of situations.
Because I always wonder, because I always imagine you'd put it in first.
Yeah, but if the engine's running and just say you get out of control or whatever, like your bike's still going to be ticking over in first. Yeah. Whereas if your engine's off and you get out of control and like all you need to do is let go of the clutch and the back wheel's going to lock up. If you let go of the clutch and lean in, hopefully the back wheel will step out and you'll end up falling over like and just parking by the hill.
Yeah.
But often it's that steep. Sometimes you just got to bail and just watch the bike go. See in a bit.
See you in a bit. I'll be there in a second.
Yeah, it's hard to describe. That's why I wish there was more in the middle of nowhere coverage, like people with GoPros. Like, you need to give them to good riders to get in the exposed areas, but like, there was more of that stuff. Like, even or like people with just give them dad cams or whatever. Like, doesn't like the quality of cameras these days. That just give them to a few old riders and just say, get to the gnarliest. Because
I like that as an idea. That's
the
sick,
shit you don't see is just fucking madness. And like, there's times it'll be raining, we'll be fucking riding together, and like, just what the fuck are we meant to do here? Like, literally talking to each other, like, what the fuck? We're like pulling each other up or holding each other's. Someone will be at the bottom holding the front wheel. Someone will have hold the back mudguard, like passing the bike down a fucking cliff. It's fucking stupid, really, when you think about it.
Yeah. Right, who's got better facial hair, you or Manny?
Well, it depends what you like. I'd say he's got more depth and thickness, but I think mine
better for business.
Ticks more boxes. This is definitely more of a. He's got more of it, I would say.
All right. So quantity.
I put
wins
more
on.
time into a bit more mustache grooming and stuff.
Yours is more like art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. His is less thought goes into it. Mine, I'm do a bit more looking at myself in the mirror, I would say.
Yeah. Yours is hard work. His is based off talent. Yours involves more artistry. Okay. Yeah, I get that. I can see that. And last but not least, Greg Williamson. Have you learnt to whip yet?
Not as good as I would like. That's because we spent a day motocrossing in Spain and I had him on the camera thinking I was fucking Axel Hodges and kept looking at his videos thinking you must be stood in the wrong places. But I've got better since that day, in all honesty. Like, I have got better.
Mate, does it make you cringe when you watch like mountain bikers post like moto clips a bit?
Most of the time, no. Like, there's definitely a few where I think, but most of the time, not. To be honest,
I was heartbroken when I saw myself on a motorbike.
But I think
when I was younger, I couldn't believe it.
I
look. That's me. I look like I got rigor mortis.
But doubt it. But what I like about mountain bikers on the ride, like they more care about how they look.
Yeah,
and I like
why
that.
Is that then? Yeah,
but I like that. I think not a lot of people do that enough in motocross. Like, there's some fucking terrible styles out there. Like, okay, they go fast or whatever. Like, but if you're not competing seriously, like, why not just spend a day just looking a bit cooler, or like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just such a different attitude, I feel like. And I know I guess there's more people, like there's more free riders, there's more social athletes, there's just more content in mountain biking, I think.
Yeah.
So there is more emphasis on it, which is what I think's cool.
Getting there though, eh?
Yeah, it is definitely improving. 100%. Like, I mean, just the way the world is going, I guess, but it is definitely, there's more people, just doing videos and cool stuff. But even that, like, I question how cool a lot of it is, but we'll not go into that. We don't want to offend anyone, but I do question how cool a lot of it is.
I hear you.
But anyway, we'll see where the world takes us.
We will indeed. It's been brilliant. I've loved talking to you, actually, dude. It's been super fun.
Much.
Yeah, really fun. Where can everyone find you? I'm sure they already have, but do you want to promote anything?
I've chilled, really. Instagram, YouTube, that's the two main things, really. I mean, I don't really understand TikTok. I try and make videos, but the ones I think are cool don't do any good. The ones I think are shit usually do good. Just don't really bother with that. Instagram, YouTube, Billy Bolt, I'm sure you'll find something. And just...
You've got some merch, haven't you?
Merch is also... that's actually... If you go on the Kex website, I'll give Kex a little plug. That's my best mate Ed's underwear company, and my merch is run through his company. So if you search Billy Bolt merch, I'm sure it comes up. There's links, the usual places. But check it out. Try and hopefully enjoy it. If not, don't bother watching.
The world keeps spinning.
Like I say, I'll not take too much offence to it, but hopefully you do like it and keep doing it.
Oh yeah, you're the man, Billy. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Peace and love. Like and subscribe.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Mate, what an episode.
Brilliant. I thought you were really great, Davey.
Mate, and I thought you were even better.
Thanks, dude.
Better than normal.
Oh, cheers.
Hey, how about we tell our lovely podcast community to hit subscribe here.
Yeah.
Click on the video on Olly's face.
That's right.
Click on the video on my face.
Yeah.
And follow us at The Ride Companion on Instagram.
They can like and comment as well.
Please do.
I'm going to try and get this energy and I'm going to bring it into next week.
Let's fast forward to next week's episode.
Done.